Hey, Fluffy. Here I'm melting. I'm gonna need another part of the office because the wall that usually is behind me is getting remodelated because, as you know, I don't know if you guys remember, there was a day that it was raining. I was doing a live stream, and actually you could see like there was, water was filtering through the wall, and it created like a sort of like a very um, a line, a very strong line in the wall because there was water filtering in from the rain. So we had to build a new wall, to somehow have it more protected. So yeah, we are in the process of that. This is why I'm on this side. Maybe you don't recognize this side, but yes, I'm on the same room, different side. I don't know, probably on Sunday maybe I will have new wall, the wall that is renovated. We have to paint it. There's still a lot to do. Also, my dad got his new date for the cataracts eye surgery. So it's going to be next Wednesday. So probably next Wednesday and the days after that, I'm not going to do live stream because I'm going to be, accompanying him to the place to get the surgery and everything. So yeah, I will be gone for a few days. Okay, today's readings is for the leaders of the groups, of some groups of K-pop, in K-pop. I have, for today's list, I have NCT Taeyong, I have Ateez Hongjoong, Twice Jihyo, Ive Yujin, SHINee Onew, XLOV Wumuti, Katseye Sophía, 17 SCOUPS, LNGSHOT Ohyul, TVXQ Yunho, and Martin of Cortis. Yes, thank God he didn't have to wait that long. But yeah, I'm getting everything ready again. My alarms. I'm writing everything down on paper so we don't forget, so it doesn't happen again. So, pray for us that everything goes well. And I don't know if there's like a Mercury retrograde somewhere, but I think that there's something going on with messy conversations or, mixed like messages or lost messages even. Because I got a few scares about, certain appointments that they called me. They were like, "Are you coming to the doctor's appointment?" And I'm like, I didn't have a doctor's appointment. They got my name wrong. It was a whole confusion. So I don't know if it's Mercury's fault again. But yeah, it feels like that. Yeah, it's a lot of people. That's why I'm going to start first with the readings, guys. I'm going to start the readings, and then we're going to, be ranting a bit, talking a bit, because I do have a lot to say about the whole Enhypen Hison situation. Because I did have to turn off the comment section, because, I don't like when people speculate. Like, you can speculate all you want, but not on my tarot reading. So I think that people are very intense. Like, I don't know, I just read cards, but people are addicted to, oh my God, that cannot be, oh no, because he would never, oh no, there's something wrong, there must be something wrong. I didn't see it like that. So I'm sorry. I'm just a messenger. My cards show me something. My intuition tells me something. So I'm faithful to my intuition. And I'm not going to jump on the mass hysteria, like, oh my God, there must be something wrong. I've seen a lot of companies doing wrong in tarot readings, like, and being in the middle and being to blame. But in this case, I didn't. So, I think that people should chill, because I'm not doing this for, for, I'm just doing this because I have people in my community that they are fans of the members, of the group. And because of them, I'm doing the readings, not because I want to, get all into the psychosis, and people worrying, panicking, thinking the worst, speculating things that I'm like, it's a lot. Just leave the guy alone, and just, take, for a K-pop news, we had pretty worse news about, a member. So can we be thankful at least for something for him? Can we be happy for him? No, we have to worry, of course. Mm. Yeah, but I think that, and this is also happening with Katseye Mano. Everyone already saying that why she's leaving, why is she kicked out of the group? Why is she being kicked out of the group? Mano is not being kicked out of the group. She's still part of the group. She's in hiatus. So why are people, why are you naming something that is not? I know it's strange. It's very unexpected. I'm sure there's something missing in there. I'm sure there's something hidden. There must be a secret, something that we don't know, we're not supposed to know. But personally, I don't think that it comes from Hison. Maybe it's about someone else, but I don't think that it's like, oh, because he did this is why he has to do this. But I'm like, my God, like, people are just, I'm tired. I'm tired of, like, I don't know. I just am tired of, that there must be something wrong. There must be something wrong. And also, it's very disrespectful to the fans, even, like, because there's random people that they don't even support the group, and they are throwing their opinions, like, oh, I think that happened, but you don't follow the group. So what are you talking about? And even if you do follow the group, sometimes we follow a group and we don't know. But if I seen something shady, I would have said it. Honestly, I was ready. I was like, okay, I will pull the cards. And I didn't get anything like this. So, that's what I feel. But I don't know. I don't know if time will prove, because people will keep insisting that there's something wrong, that there must be something horrible happening, and sometimes it could be just what they told you that is happening. I don't know. And I know that Hive and whatever Hive branch is related to this, I know that they don't play fair. I know that there's certain things that they had been guilty of, but in this case, they didn't even appear. So I'm like, so this is not actually this is not the company getting in the middle and be shady, or I don't know. I it was the most peaceful, loving kind of reading that I got in so long. Hey, Akira. Yes. You also the hymn has to be a deeper, sad meaning. Yes. People coming up with their own narrative, and his one is crazy. They're coming up with fake messages on Weaver's fake scenarios of him being seen crying and signing petitions. Disrespectful towards him, claiming they want to protect him but not respecting his actual decision. And when actual wrong things happen, people don't care enough. Yes, because the artists involved aren't big enough. There has been very deep things happening and people don't care enough because it's not their faves. Yes, exactly. It's like a very selective, like, oh, like some people say, oh, my group would never, you know, you should never say never, because, you know, life just, you know. But yeah, I just feel sorry for the fans, because I know that the fans. I'm not a fan, and I was shook. I was when I read that you guys told me what was going on. I was like, oh, what? I couldn't even believe it. But I think that what I came to I came to the conclusion that anything in K-pop is like this. Like all these, you wake up and there's a news that you didn't see coming, or there's something that is very abrupt. But at the same time, I'm like, this is a business. And thank God, the guy is going to continue working. I think that worst it would have been if he had just left. It was announced that he was, departing from the group, and it's like you will never see him again. And trials and lawsuits and a lot of things that could come, But seeing that he's staying under the same company, I was like, okay. So he's protected somehow. I'm glad. It's not about protection. I think that it's about work. I would wish for my bias to be, employed, to have work. But well. And it's the same, it's not the same because it's different situations, but when the whole situation with Sunghan it happened, people were still, like in my case, in my channel, people were still asking me to read if he was going to come back with Rise. And I was like, didn't you hear what they just said? Like, like they said indefinitely. I don't know what they said, that it was like, no, it's not going to happen. But it's like we have to, there's certain things that you cannot, once the company decides, and now we're talking about Songhan. I know that there was an attempt of them having him back, and then they took it back, and that was awful because it definitely played with fans' expectations. I wasn't a fan back then, and I was so heartbroken because I was like, oh, like there could be a possibility of him being in the group, but those things about warning him or warning a specific member to come back to his group, it never happens. It never happens. So, what are you talking about? It's like, well, okay, let's leave them. Companies are tricky, and they play with the fans' expectation. Also, something very like interesting. I think that there should be like a social study of this, because they are definitely getting what they want. Their reaction, people talking about this, people doing a lot of videos and speculating, and just people just talking and creating theories. I think that this is what they want. This is what they want, and this is what they're getting. So they're happy. They're happy because there must be something in the background, something somewhere else that needs to be covered, because everyone is talking about this. Everyone is like is speculating, like, oh my god, like you don't even stand the group. You don't. People that are not even to K-pop talk about this. Like, how can you? Like, I actually I like Enhypen. I think that I told you guys, like, ever since I started listening to their last songs and everything, that I remember in Discord I was like, you know, guys, I'm thinking about studying Enhypen because I'm loving their music. Like, the releases were so great, so my style, my personal style of music, and yeah, there was a bit of caution because, you know, I know that the shipping culture and everything in it's very strong, and I don't have energy for that. Also, I'm 40 years old, so, you know, I wouldn't get into that culture because, you know, I just like the music, but I think that the guys are super talented and are very capable of being successful, you know. So maybe we should wish them the best instead of thinking like, oh my god, what is it going to be of them? It's not going to be the same. Yeah, the same they said about Rice, and Rice is still here with us. So yeah, I don't want to compare, but, you know, yeah, it hurts. It's a process. It's a mourning process for what it was. But yeah, a decision was made, and that's it. You know. Hello. Yeah, the fake rumors. It's is so. But you know what's so. This is why I turn off the comment section, because I don't want that energy in my reading, in my video. I know I'm a no one, and my tarot reading is not like going to change the world. No, and I don't expect to change people's minds or for you to be like, oh, what she said is opened my mind to a new universe. I never thought I would see things from this perspective. No, I just pull cards. You know, I read for K-pop, I pull cards. The fans were worried, and I was like, okay, I will do it. I was tired. I was exhausted because I came from a long, you know, day at work, but I was like, I will do this because I know I have engines in my community. I have people that really like his song, and they were worried, so I was like, okay, I will pull the cards to see what's up. But once they start, you know, in my comment section, they start with this, oh, because, you know, that card that you got, the Empress, and this, and that's pregnancy, that's, she must have a girlfriend, she must have. And I think that that's very simplistic because, you know, first of all, like, it's not just about a card or a couple of cards being in a spread and you be like, oh, you know, they are talking about relationships or they're talking about him having a girlfriend. There were a lot of cards that they were very much on the abundant, you know, birth of something new, even fertility, I must say. But in my case, with my experience and with the way I was seeing the cards in that moment, I didn't feel it to be like, yeah, he has a secret girlfriend and this is why he's leaving. I don't feel it like this. I don't feel like there's another person. I think that there's definitely a partnership that is hidden, but it has to do also with this new process of him maybe going solo. That there's like someone that he's not alone. He's not going to be alone doing this. There's a bit of anonymous, like, okay, you don't talk about this with anyone. I don't know if it's like a hidden recipe, a hidden collaboration, a hidden guest, a hidden producer. I don't know. There's something hidden. There's something about the formula, how they're going to be working with him that is going to remain silent. And probably they ask him, okay, don't talk about this. But in my case, I saw these cards and I never, my mind never went to the place of like, this is about his personal life. You know, he has this secret, or he has this relationship, even though I had cards of relationships. But also, I have cards that talk about the birth of a new project, because we are talking about the men in the industry. that is an artist, that is a creator, that is someone that supposedly aspires to be a soloist. And the cards were like, the potential is huge. There's a lot of growth, there's a lot of expansion, there's a lot of birth of new ideas, and he is here standing on his own, and he is looking very prosperous. He's looking very prosperous. He's like, he's looking really good. Like the potential is there. But I never seen it like, oh, this is a relationship, because I don't know, I would have seen someone and I didn't. I seen the Two of Cups, definitely, and I did mention it in the video. The Two of Cups and the High Priestess, it could be like a hidden relationship. But people are like, oh, because you got the Empress's pregnancy. No, it could be. But I'm telling you, because I'm the one reading the cards, and I'm telling you that it never crossed my mind like this is personal. Definitely what feels personal is that his idea comes from him. Like something in his emotional world happened, it changed, that he's somehow moving on. He wants to move on. He doesn't want to do the same that he has been doing. He wants a change. And he's sort of slowly moving on. He's slowly been like, okay, my heart is no longer here. I have to advance. I don't know where to go, but I have to advance. But I guess people are very confident, and I believe that it will continue to be very confident that he has a secret partner and that that person is pregnant. I think that that's the what people think, and it's valid that you think or that you have a perception that that is, but not with my reading, not with the cards that I pulled myself. No, no. Mm. Uh, they are spreading paranoia. Exactly, exactly. I'm going to leave the honestly, because for me it's good that the video is doing well and a lot of people are watching. But I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it um, um, a week, and then I'm going to put it on private, because I don't want to add. I just did it because I wanted to be generous with the fans. But then I was like, I'm getting into a territory that people are going too far, and I don't want my reading to get involved in this. So I think that I'm going to give it a week, and then I'm going to put it on private, because I'm feeling like disgusted a bit. I'm feeling like, like this is not what I'm doing this. And I don't feel it like, like at first I don't think that they understand really, how a tarot reading works or how I work. So I think that it's like, why go in there? I just wanted to be helpful, because I know that there were people that they were really suffering and probably still are. But getting all maniac is not going to get you anywhere. Mm, mm, mm-hmm, mm. Just that the Empress talks about, you know, growth, expansion, you wanting more of life, and actually the Empress is like, yeah, you do that, you go and shine, you go and work on yourself, invest in yourself. Also he's a Libra, so it makes sense, that the cards also are very Venusian. It's all about like, okay, I have to partner with someone, or I have to follow someone's advice. It's like, oh yes, it could be a solo, but at the same time there's like other people. He will not be alone. But yeah. it's sad. It's sad. It's, I don't know. I just feel like, and it's also very odd. This is something that I was like, because I don't know, maybe if I got a very sad reading, people maybe would agree more. If I got a very tragic reading, oh, there's a lot of betrayal in here. Oh my God, he got his car broken. Oh my God, he was, no, I got a very, a vibrant card. There was a lot of, him taking it slow at the same time, a lot of awareness from his part, a lot of honesty from the members. I even pulled cards for about the members, how the members view him. So more than what I can do with the cards, there's not, that shows that, sometimes certain messages are not for everyone. You do have to know, at least in my case, I do have to know my audience. I do have to know exactly who I'm reading for, because, the tarot is okay if you want to know the tea. The tarot also, it can be gossipy, and they can spill the tea if there's some tea, but in this case, there was no tea. So, I'm like, what if I got a very tragic kind of, um, reading, and I didn't. So I'm like, I don't know what people want. I think that people really want to be miserable, or maybe being a bit like, you are presented with a certain truth, and just like Akira said, because you're traumatized by the way this industry handles, you start comparing and contrasting and be like, wait, there must be something wrong in here, because this is so unexpected. Oh my God, they mess up. I'm all about, like, calling the company out if I see that they mess up. But I didn't see that, actually. So I was like, well, only time will tell. I think that maybe there's going to be a bit of silence from his part, but I think that it's too early, and people are too into their feelings, and it's not good. It's not good when that happened. Like I think that there's like a psychosis, like, and also I think that even content creators are not even careful with that, because they could be children watching. I mean, they could be underage people, very sensitive people, and you just coming up with very, just with these crazy theories. I'm like, no, definitely a lot of toxicity in the community. It shows when these things happen. It shows, and I'm like, no. Next time something like this happen, I'm not going to read. Because sometimes you want to give something back, but if it's received with so many resistances, then no. Yeah. Or people my age, I don't know, because people my age also are very interesting in the way they handle themselves. They are scary. Okay, guys, let's begin with the leaders. I want to do a brief update to see how they're doing in this new year, new possibilities. Let's see. I'm going to start. The first is going to be NCT Taeyong. that he's back from the military. So let's see Taeyong, leader of NCT. I cannot see anything with this daylight. I'm blind. Okay, NCT Taeyong as a leader. Let's see how he's doing as a leader. Okay, for Taeyong, Ace of Pentacles, Knight of Cups, the Hermit, and the World. And then I have Ace of Wands from this other deck that it says beginnings. So very nice for Taeyong, because I was like, you know, when I saw the Hermit, I was like, what is going on with Taeyong? Like, sort of felt like a bit of blockage in his happy vibe, you know, a bit of like, I don't want to say secrecy, but him being more reserved than the usual self, you know. But then I have the Ace of Wands, so, you know, this is going to be part of new beginnings, part probably of him adapting after coming back of the military. Definitely he wanted to be back. You know, there's something about him, you know, being this, you know, charming and also being very open and vulnerable and just loving, you know, he definitely doesn't complain about his role in the group, his responsibilities. You know, he's someone that he's very secure of himself, the influence that he has on others in the group. He knows, he feels very comfortable being the leader. Also, he's like he carries good news, you know. Usually, you know, he's someone that can see success before anyone else sees it. You know, he can see opportunity, a potential for the groups that maybe some people at first they are a bit reluctant, and they're like, "Are you sure?" And he's like, "Yes, this is the road that we have to go for." And he's just a very loving. He's a very loving leader, and he missed a lot being part of the group. Emotionally, he's like, you know, guys, I'm back. He's also very proud of himself. You know, he's very proud of this process, of everything that he had learned in the military. While being in the military, I think that it gave him, you know, another kind of achievements, and probably he was a leader also in there. So, you know, it's like he's carrying a badge of honor, or he's carrying, you know, his own stories of personal success or personal victory. You know, maybe his role in there was really good, or he was praised for this, and he's taking the throne or the trophy home. You know, he's like, guys, you know what happened to me? You know, while I was in there, I discovered that, you know, I had been doing this forever with you guys. So, but now I think that he's probably a bit more sensitive. There's something that he probably, while being away, he realized that maybe there were moments where he was a bit unfair in the past, and now he wants to be like more open emotionally, or he wants to be like a more empathic leader. Like he wants to be the one that initiates more than, oh, let the other members come and talk to me. He wants to be the one that is like, you know, I will go to you. You know, I will go and talk to you, and we will have a private conversation, and I will listen to you actively. So he's just feeling very sensitive, also very sensitive, but very proud of himself. You know, he had achieved a lot, and yes, being part of it, being a leader in the city, also he had achieved a lot. It's just that maybe, you know, in the military has somehow given him more like material, you know, kind of proof that in the practical sense, he's a really good leader, you know. So he's like, I was able to do well or to perform well because of my training. as an NCT leader. I think that he was able to make the connection. And he probably missed the members, emotionally feels like he's like, I want to let everyone know that I love you because I feel so sensitive and I feel like this and I miss you guys. Like, very sweet, very sweet. A bit, maybe a bit much for some people. Like, oh my God, what happened to you? Why are you so sensitive? Why are you on your feelings? What are you telling me that me? But he feels like this, he feels like, no, I should let you know. I need to let you know. I need to let you know. Yeah, with the Hermit and the Waltz, I think that these months probably is still a bit awkward for him. There's a part of him that he's like more of an observer. I think that he sort of is coming back and observing the different dynamics or the different roles that people took in his absence. That he's at awe at all of this. He's like, wow, they're doing so great. They did so great without me. And I think that he could be a bit like silent from time to time, and he could be a bit like different. Maybe with the Hermit, maybe some fans noticing like that's not the same Taeyong. Like, he's too quiet, or there's something about him being too like too like a hermit. It's like him. He usually maybe had like a more like vibrant kind of energy, and now with the Hermit, it's like he has become more of an observer of the members. And he's learning, of course, but he's also adjusting and maybe being like, wow, will I be able to come back to this? Will I be able to come back to this? And I think that he will, because he will get out of this hermit mode eventually. This is why when I saw the World Cup, I was like, thank God, because we don't want a Taeyong that goes inwards, like too inward, that you cannot reach him, or that he becomes so reserved that you cannot, connect with him. But I think that he's more mature also, maybe part of his training or part of his role, it had to do with observation. It had to do with being quiet, with being, just there and maybe just like, observe. And he probably is not like he used to. There's something about him leaving early. He probably wants to leave early. It's like he's so emotional, he's so happy to be back, but maybe he somehow wants to be alone a bit. Like, okay, I had enough of this. This is great. I love you all, but I want to go back to my cave. I kind of like, can you please leave me alone? And I wonder if he is still like doing some courses or doing some taking some classes, or maybe online classes, or something that it has to do with knowledge. I think that he's still not done. Maybe he still is in a school or in a sort of like, he's learning something on his own. And maybe this is also taking a lot of his time. Maybe he's perfectioning, something that he was taking a course of this. Because we have the wall card, and the wall is like, okay, I'm about to finish my studies, or I'm about to finish this. Maybe he needs to pass a test, or he needs to, he wants to deliver a certain, or he wants to participate in exam. But I think that he has become studious also. There's something about him being very interested in learning more books, individual activities, something that he has to do by himself. So, and also he could be a bit like, there's something very gray about him. This is why when I saw the hermit, that usually Taeyong is very colorful. Well, Taeyong the idol, he's very colorful, he's very playful with his style. So seeing the hermit, it feels like he has become a bit much more like maybe a fan of using a kind of uniform or using clothes that are all of the same color. Like it feels like, I need my routines, and or maybe he wants to be home at a certain hour and go to sleep at a certain hour, and that's the non-negotiable for him. That maybe before the military he didn't have it. So it is like he's getting like wiser and a bit more of a hermit, and you've been like, whoa, what happened? What happened to Taeyong? Well, he's getting wiser, but yeah, eventually, the wheel is going to turn. This cycle is going to end after finishes his task. Going to have the passionate Taeyong again, because we have the Ace of Wands. This is beginnings, so definitely he's going to be preparing for a comeback with a group or even individually with his things, but I see him very much well. Okay, let's see. Ateez Hongjoong, the leader of Ateez. Can you see the cards well, guys? I don't know if you can. Oh, the Empress, he's pregnant. Oh, King of Cups. Okay. The Empress for Hongjoong. 7 of Wands. We have the World, and we have the 8 of Pentacles. And then we have the King of Cups, balance. Yeah, at the end, he's a very caring kind of leader. Even though he gives me Virgo vibes. I don't know if he maybe, being a leader, I don't know, probably there's a lot of idols. I know that there's a lot of Sun in Virgo idols, but I think that maybe for the leaders, there must be prominent Virgo placements, because there's a bit of obsession for certain results. In the case of Hongjoong, I think that, he's at the end with the King of Cups, that is his balance. He's still a water sign. He's still emotional. He's still, emotionally mature. He cares for the members, but he can have a tendency of going also initially going more towards the obsessive, kind of compulsive, way of working. There's something about like, okay, if it's not perfect, I don't want it. So I think that there's certain ways that he handles himself that he's like, well, if we want to achieve perfection, I cannot be sweet. I cannot be gentle. Like, I have to tell you like it is. I have to give you feedback, very, very fast and efficient, just like what I do with others. So I think that for him, it's like, the process of creation can be a bit painful, can be a bit, like not so pleasant, because he's like, no, it has to be challenging for us to really get passionate, or for us to get really hungry that we really want this to work. We have the Temperance and the 7 of Wands. So I think that him as a leader, he is very much all about physical effort. With the Empress, it's like, we are not princesses. So I will not treat you like a princess. I will talk to you like a man. So yeah, you listen. You listen. Like, we have to get our hands dirty, like in the sense that we have to put the body to work. We have to get fierce. We have to get, relentless. We have to get strong. And we have to fight and defend our ground, or defend our craft, or defend our creations. So nothing, about Hongjoong's style of leadership is just gentle and going with the flow. He's like, no. For us to get this empress, or for us to get this abundant, we have to fight. So you have to be ready. You have to have the character to somehow stand your ground and defend yourself, because they do have plenty of creation available. It's just that maybe there's a lot of things that they have to defend themselves from day one. I think that they definitely are people with a lot of growth, with a lot of talents, with a lot of popularity as well. But that doesn't mean that the road is easy. It will mean that at some point they will have to show their claws and their teeth, because people want to step in their territory. So Hongjoong is like, this is why I'm very raw, I'm very honest with the guys. I don't sell them fantasies. I don't tell them beautiful things. I don't give them these inspirational quotes, or, these nice messages, toxic positivity of like, everything will be okay. No. He's like, no, this business is a battlefield, and we have to make a stand. We have to defend ourselves. We have to be strong. We have to be independent. We have to be full of energy, because they're coming for us to take this from us. So I think that probably there's something initially, that he feels very much defensive about the industry, or about his creation, or about what the group creates, because there's potential dangers, and he knows this. Maybe potential people wanting to take credit of theirs. And he knows this. This is why, I prepare my members. I let them know what is going on. I don't sugarcoat things. And then we have the world, and we have the eight of Pentacles. So, with the world, it's like he then, relaxes a bit. Initially, he gets intense, and then, he starts to loosen up, and he probably is like, guys, you have to work harder, and you have to do extra, because this is not good enough. And then at the end, he is the one that fixes it. He is the one that stays up late and fixes the details. He is the one that works the extra hours for the group. Even when he says that he's not going to take care of it, eventually he's the one that ends up doing extra hours, because this is his love language. He fixes things. He gives the final touches. And this is not because he is like, no, I don't trust anyone to do it but me. I think that is more that he's like, I want my members to rest. I want them to take a break. I want them to go home. I want them to enjoy a beautiful meal, and I will stay working. I will do the extra hours, because I'm the leader. So even if, he gives you initially tough love, but at the end, he's like this parent, that at the end, he said that he wouldn't do this for you, he wouldn't help you, but at the end, he's the one that ends up helping, and making everything all right. Because he changes, he has these double facets. But yeah, there's a lot of work in the leadership of Hongjoong. Nothing is easy. Nothing is easy about the role that he has. Nothing is like, oh, it's so comfortable here. No. Yeah, King of Cups, balance. He's probably becoming more and more sensitive, as the years pass. And he's probably, maybe building better communication and a better and more mature and healthy relationship with the members. He must be King of Cups, learning to create this balance between like, okay, we work long hours, but then afterwards, I will give them free time, or I will help them, have this great experience, going to a spa, I don't know, but having a great balance of like, work and also being able to relax and being able to be safe and feeling loved and appreciated. And I think that he's slowly, being a more empathic kind of leader, even if the times that he gets a bit, tough, is because, this journey is tough for him as a leader as well. He's trying to maintain all of this. He's trying to remain strong. So this is why sometimes, he can look like he's a bit inflexible, with certain members, or he's like, no, this is not right. You didn't do this. But he's like, because I want them to be strong. I want them to be able to take criticism and not break. I want them to be able to be independent, not be dependent on me. So yeah, he's very wise. Oh, my throat hurt. Sorry, guys, my throat hurt. Okay, twice Jihyo. Let's move on to twice Jihyo. Let's see how she's doing. It's really funny that she got the King of Wands that it says breakthrough. Here they have twice. Doesn't they don't they have like a song that it calls breakthrough? I think that they do. Is it breakthrough? Well, okay, for Jihyo, we start with the Six of Pentacles, the Lovers, Justice, and Four of Cups. Then from this other deck, I have the King of Wands that is as breakthrough. So she embodies the King of Wands. She's a very confident, it seemed a bit masculine, but it's not about her being masculine. It's just that I think that she's very strong. She could be as strong as a man, I would say, in the sense that there's no boundaries for her. She's like, we will make it and we will make it. And I will push my body. I will push my body to the limit, but no one is defeating us. She's also a very honest. She's also a kind of leader that also she will tell you like it is. She's very passionate. She's also very straightforward. She's like, I will tell the girls the things that I want to say and the way that I want to say it, at least in this point in her life. In this point in her life, it feels that all the cards are all about balance, are all about give and take. She is no longer like carrying the group on her shoulders, because maybe there's an agreement, or there's, the members probably manage themselves. There's a lot of independency probably. She actually is like a great, with the King of Wands, there's something about her promoting independence in the group and being like, girls, you know what to do. You know what to do. I'm here just in case, you need my fire and you want to be inspired by me or my energy, but you guys know what to do already. So there's something about her, as a leader, at least maybe this year, it feels like she's been very fair. She's like, okay, this is what we have to do today. 50-50. Or I do my part, you do your part, the other one does their part. Let's divide the task and let's make it. But also, I think that she is not pushing it anymore. There's something about her, with the Justice. She's also probably, in prior years, she used to have like high standards of what she wanted to achieve. Or maybe as a leader, she was like, no, because a leader is supposed to do this, or a leader is supposed to be like this. And now she's like a bit on a sort of like, maybe she's bored, or maybe there's something about her being like, it's not worth it. it's not worth it to overwork yourself. It's not worth it as a leader to take all the responsibilities, or it's not worth it to worry too much, or it's not worth it to try to take everything on your shoulders. I think that there's the Six of Pentacles, the Lovers, the Justice. There's something about balance. She's like, okay, I will do my part, but the company also has to do their part. I will not do their work. I will not do the work. This is not about the members. I don't think that this is about the members, because actually the members are not here. This is why I'm like, I can sort of see that probably the members already have an autonomy, or they have a sort of arrangement with her. They're like, okay, I think that she, at this point, maybe she has like the title of the leader, but because they are so experienced, each one of the girls are leaders in their own right. It's like they can do without Jihyo. And this is not to say that they're going to do without Jihyo, but it feels like they don't need Jihyo to tell them what to do, because they already know. So she feels much more liberated. She feels lighter. She feels even more free, I would say. But I think that she probably, one of the things that she has learned, and maybe this also she has learned when it comes to her personal relationships, her as a woman, learning about balance and reciprocity. That just because you are efficient and just because you can do it doesn't mean you should. And there's something about boundaries. So I think that for her, maybe in the past, in relationships or in this leadership role, maybe she gave a lot of herself. Maybe she gave more than what she should. So it got certain people accustomed, or it got certain people like take the wrong idea that, let's leave it to her. She's able to manage this and more. She can do this and more. She can represent the CEO here, and she can do this and represent, this another higher up, because she's intelligent and she understands and she gets along with people and she has the energy and she wants to do it. But was it her job? No, it wasn't. So I think that maybe something happened, where she started to learn that she was giving a lot, that she was doing the part of the other. And that is very damaging, because you're somehow like treating the other part like, oh, I will do their part, I will help them. But no, you're somehow like getting them used to, that you will do their part. So they get comfortable and they don't work then, or they don't do what they have to do, or they don't take up responsibilities. And I think that Jihyo is someone that is very responsible person. She's also probably a great mediator. There's something with the Lovers, that she's in the middle and she's like, okay, is there something wrong? Okay, I'm listening to your side and your side. Like, let's get together and fix this. So I think that she's really good at, being able to see both sides and just being in there and trying to, reconcile certain parties. But she's also tired. This is the thing, with the Four of Cups. She's a bit drained, she's a bit disconnected, a bit disappointed, maybe even, about this role that she has. Maybe she came to a point, or she's coming to a point where she is somehow reflecting that being a leader maybe didn't make much of a difference. Maybe she wanted to achieve more in this role, or she wanted to get more for the girls, or she wanted to fight something for the girls. And I think that this year is like somehow, her eyes are opening and she's like, it's not about how much I do. The reality is that they're not going to give us what we deserve. So why keep pushing it? I have to accept that this is what they're giving us. I have to accept it. Accept that people give you what they have. So I will also give them what I have. I will give them only the basics, only till here, no more charity, no more extra hours, no more extra efforts. No, she is losing, a bit the purpose. She's like, yeah, this year, everything that I'm listening, the feedback, everything, it feels like more of the same. Nothing is changing. Nothing is moving. But the one that can move is myself. Because she definitely wants to break, certain boundaries. She wants to be brave. She's a very brave and very honest also kind of leader, with the King of Wands and breakthrough. She's not afraid to, let's talk. let's talk about what is going on, or let's just call it like it is. No BS anymore. So I think that she is feeling very courageous. She had always been courageous, but I think that she's like, I already given everything. I'm not going to do extra. You guys are not paying me enough for this. So yeah, personal decision. She's like, this is not cute anymore. Okay, I'm going to pull cards for Ive Yujin. Let's see. Leader of Ive. See how she's doing. Is she going on hiatus? Okay, for her, 4 of Swords, 5 of Cups, King of Cups, 3 of Cups, and then we have the Temperance that it says protection. So she's very emotional. She's a very emotional leader, I would say. But she really cares for the members. There's a friendship, definitely. But she's feeling a bit down about something. A bit like disappointed in some results. I don't know, could it be the result of the comeback? Because she's feeling a bit like this is not, this is not what we wanted. We wanted more, or, and it's very interesting because actually she is really like active. Like there's a lot of things that she does, besides being in life, there's a lot of projects. And her attitude is always like, you don't see Eugene like, and you be like, wow, she mentally is tired, or no. But I think that something is bothering her. Maybe she, maybe I think that also it could be that because she's very ambitious, so maybe she wanted to do more, and there's something about her sort of missing other opportunities, and she not being able to take those opportunities. So it feels like, I had to choose, or she has to choose the group, or she has to, choose groups activities, and maybe she feels like the individual that she wants to have, she she just, doesn't get them. She has to give something up. If she wants to do something, she has to give something up. And probably right now the group is a priority. Or maybe it also could be that there was a show that she was going to participate in, and somehow this is going to be canceled. So it feels like this. It feels like a stop in activities. And she's like, oh, I really wanted that. I really wanted that. But yeah, I think that there's a man in here. I'm like, why is this man in here? I think that I've seen this King of Cups, right? For Yujin before? Yujin, yes. Didn't I see this man before, Fluffy? Yujin? A King of Cups, remember? I read for her last year on Virgo season. There was a King of Cups, I guess. Because I see the group and I see that there's like a friendship, definitely. Like for her, it's not so much like I'm the leader and these are my coworkers. Like, no, this is a friendship. She's definitely friend. I don't want to say like she's friends with all of them, but she has very genuine emotional connections with some of them. Maybe two of them are somehow, I don't want to say her favorites, but there's an emotional connection. There's something very intimate, like you look at me and you get me. You get me where I'm coming from. They are as sensitive as she is. But there's a man in here. Could it be that there's like a man that is helping her in the leadership? I think that there's a man in here. Like there's, like, why is he in here? It's not a CEO. I don't think that it's a CEO, but it's somehow like co-managing with her. And he's also very sweet. He could be a earth sign as well. Not an earth sign, sorry, a water sign. Just very empathic, very sweet. The King of Cups also would represent her being, she also is a bit masculine in the sense that she could be sweet, but she can also be like this father. I wouldn't say that she's like the mother of the group. She's like the father of the group, but very sweet. She listens to everyone. If you want to get emotional with her, she will be crying next to you. She loves these girls so much. She loves them so much. And this is why I think that, this sort of sadness, disappointment that she has is because, she's like, I want more for the girls. I want to give them good news. I want to let them know that we're having this. But somehow, maybe it doesn't end like, I don't know if it's like a deal or something that doesn't end the way she was hoping. And then she has to somehow comfort the girls and be like, well, girls, this didn't come out the way we wanted to. So, but yeah, keep your face up. She is very emotional. She talks to the members one-on-one. Like she's very transparent like this. She's very sentimental even. I don't know why I think that they cry a lot. But, not sad tears, but they really open up and they cry a lot. They have this sort of like, moments of intimacy. When you get really intimate and the feelings start to flow and everyone opens up and you start crying because you feel what the others are feeling. So, yes, a man in her reading. A man in her reading. Could this be a boyfriend that works in the company? Like the fans are going to hear me. No, I don't want to take it this like this, but I think that there's a man here that somehow is her emotional support, and he's also helping the girl. So I'm like, and he's not the CEO. Definitely, he's not, because is the CEO an old man? It could be an old man, right? Because this is a younger man, but also like not young, like more like older than her, but not young. I'm curious. I just, this appears the. No, it's taking me back to the reading. Remember the reading that I did for Jenny a couple of years ago? That I was like, who is this kid of sorts? Well, something like this. Well, temperance, it says protection. So she is, like a leader. I think she is special. There's something with a lot of emotions in here. So I think that definitely she is an ace. There's something, probably she's very popular, she's very productive, she's very successful. But the temperance, it's also like she has a sort of protection. She has like a guardian angel. She has protection that somehow protects her from other people's envy. And she also is very protective of her group. She's like, they are not bringing us down. This is the ultimate girl group. When I tell you that these girls are friends, they are friends. I'm not. Usually for girl groups, I don't always get it. But in these cards, I'm like, I don't see her being like, well, me as a leader, when you get into leadership, role, where things have to have a structure, when things have to be a certain way. I know she's a Virgo, so, she could be a structure, she could have a system, but in here, I don't see the system. I just think that she cares a lot for the girl's emotional being. And she's like, I want to be their best friend. I want to be there for them. And I want them to have me. They can come to me, and we can talk and we can discuss. But she's like this strong emotional support for the girls. And probably there's something she has, like, with the temperance, maybe she has the ability to heal, a situation, or to make things better. Like somehow she's some kind of angel that makes things better for the group. But definitely her influence is very personal. Her influence about the group, or the way she manages the group, is very much about emotions. It's very much about like, I see you, I feel you, I understand, what you're going through, your worries, like, that I think that there's a lot of connection in here. And this is probably her style. Exactly, Akira. Yeah, she's a girl's girl. Very protective also of the girls. Like a father figure, but a very, clumsy father, like cute father. Okay. SHINee Onew. Let's go for Onew. The leader of SHINee. Yeah, it's really tough for Onew, because he doesn't want to be authoritarian. It's really tough for him to be a leader, because he doesn't want to tell people what to do. Queen of Swords, we have the Eight of Cups, we have the Seven of Wands, we have the Emperor, and we have the Nine of Wands, that is discipline in adversity. So yeah, definitely, him being a leader had always been him battling against something, maybe against his own personal values. He probably, not just because, recently he had this sort of religious, maybe a spiritual awakening, he's more sensitive, his own mindset has evolved or has transformed into something else. But I think that also talks about a very rigid system. Maybe, when he became a leader, or when he was named a leader, or when the group was made, the rules were very inflexible. We have the emperor in here. So I think that there was, like, once you were named the leader, you had to embody that. You had to be like this sort of general. You had to be like this presence, the one that holds the truth, the one that if he tells you to do something, you don't question them. It felt like they were trained for that. It was a very rigid system. And I think that he's like, I never got along with that. I was never able to do that. Like, every time I would try, I would just break. I would just break the character because I couldn't just, I just, there was something in his blood, in his system, that he was like, I'm so against this. I'm so like allergic to this attitude. I don't like to be bossy. I don't like telling people what to do. I can, give them answers. I can, somehow, promote an idea, or I can be like, yeah, guys, this is going on. But me forcing people to do what I say and follow me, no, I cannot do that. He's so against this. But it's so interesting because I think that this comes with a woman, that there's something, with the Queen of Swords and with the Ace of Cups. There's something about a woman resigning, a woman no longer working with them or for them. There was a woman, like, and I think that this is sort of taking me back. Onyu's reading, maybe because he is, I believe he's what is it, SHINee, second generation of K-pop. Well, I think that in comparison to these other leaders, Onyu's experience feels like it goes way back. So, there's something about this. There was a woman that she was in charge. She was in charge of certain things, maybe it was training, and she was very rough, and she was very opinionated, and she was, just maybe a bit confrontative, or she was really hurtful, or it was difficult to work with her. But she was the one that sort of made the rules of how the leader should behave or what they should accomplish. There was a kind of, I don't know if there was like kind of test, like, evaluation, something that evaluated the leader's journey with the groups. It's like, okay, you had this task, this monthly test. Like, did you achieve your goal? We gave you this for you to achieve. Did you improve? And I think that this woman was the terror for him, was like the horror. She was like his worst nightmare somehow. And I think that he's like, thank God after I left, I don't have to see her face anymore. We don't have to see her anymore. We don't have to see her anymore. So, but I think that she was old school, and she was part of his training, what he knew about, leadership. She was like the teacher or the mentor, the one that would talk to the leaders, and she would be like, okay, guys, you have to behave like this, or you have to get, the members to be like this, because if they are disorganized, it's your fault. So, it feels like she was the one calling the shots. But he's like, after she left, or after he left, probably, she was like, oh, thank God, my nightmare and other people's nightmare somehow ended, because maybe they changed this system. But he still has certain, points of view where he's like totally against being authoritarian. He's very much against the company, the rules, the regulations, the order. He's like, no, I don't do that. I rebel against this. And I advise my members to rebel against this as well. Rebel, rebel, be a rebel against these people. Just put on a fight, just don't give up. But yeah, I think that he also is maybe he also had always been this kind of leader that he's like, I will not tell you what to do. I'm just being myself. And the way I behave or the way I present myself, you can observe me or you can watch me. And if you like what I do and you want to follow me or you want to, it's not about copying, but it's like if you want to do the same or if you want to do something similar, be free to take inspiration from me, from what I do. But I think that for him, it had been a journey of him probably learning to set boundaries and defend himself, because I think that maybe the higher ups or the people in charge, they were very much on Onu's neck from a very early stage. They were maybe being toxic or they were pressuring him a lot. So the level of stress that this man has had from the beginnings, and more being the leader, I think that it took a toll of him. And this is why he's like, I survived, but I realized that I don't like authoritarian places. I don't like authoritarian systems. I don't like to be part of the industry when they get like this. This is why I'm no longer in there. So he, started to question this system of like, there's only one solution, there's only one behavior, you have to be perfect, you have to be, resilient, you have to obey, you don't question things, because we know better than you. And he's like, no, I am totally against this. And the Nine of Wands, discipline in adversity, is about his own journey being difficult, because it's like, I rebelled against this system and I told them, like, I'm not doing this anymore. And they probably punished him for this. They probably did punish him for this, or they did somehow try to separate him from the rest, or they try to, get the others to be like, oh, don't spend so much time with him, because he didn't follow the guidelines, and trying to make him look like the bad guy. But I think that he always remained strong. He survived, he remained also like in a discipline. He learned to have more discipline in himself. He learned discipline, but in his own way, not because he is like following an institution. He's like, no, I'm not blind. I'm a person with a lot of awareness, and I know that this is wrong. I know that the way you're treating us is wrong. So I cannot longer, I cannot follow this that you want me to follow. So yes, he's like, I don't want the others to follow my way. I'm not saying I'm not perfect, but he's like, if this is being a leader, I don't want it. I don't want it. Find someone else. I don't want it. I don't like to tell people what to do. Okay. XLOV, I hope that that's right pronounced this group, XLOV Wumuti. Maybe this is the leader of XLOV. Yeah, very okay. Queen of Pentacles, the Hermit, Four of Swords, Queen of Swords, and Knight of Wands journey. Could it be that there's two leaders? Because I see another woman in here. I see another woman. Is she an earth sign? I think that there's something just very very powerful. Definitely she has a strong, stable, respectable even presence. There's something. Is she rich? There's something about luxurious, and she just is very prosperous herself. There's something about the cards being like, yeah, she is really prosperous. She is very abundant, or she maybe I don't know this group. I don't know this group. Is this a woman or a guy? It's a man, right? Wait. Why am I saying she? Why did I think that it was a girl? Why am I saying she? Well, XLOV. I'm getting confused. I'm getting confused. Yeah, it's XLOV. XLOV. Well, because I have two wings, so I'm like, this could be the person being two separate people in one. But I saw the queens and I was like, this is a girl. And no, I think that it's a boy group. It's a boy group. Sorry, guys. But definitely there's a lot of feminine influence because, I have this queen and I have the queen of swords as well. So I was like, is there two women in here? I'm reading for Wumuti. Wumuti. No, Wumuti. 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 Okay. Yeah, this is why I'm like, why? Like, there's a lot of feminine energy here. I don't see a man, but well, we embrace everything. And also the tarot, it embraces everything. But, I got all these questions and I was talking about her and she and I still want to say she. Okay. Them. Besides being super luxurious and individualistic and there's also something about this person being very much focused on themselves. So I'm like, if this is a leader, it's a leader that is mostly focused on giving the best performances themselves. Like I see a lot of investment in like, I want to be better, or I want to have more talents, or I want to acquire more things, more knowledge, very hungry for introspection. Like I want to learn, I want to read more, I want to, I don't know, create more, produce more, but all alone. It feels like, you guys let me do my thing alone. So I think that this is probably a leader that is more than a leader, or probably has another kind of role that it's is like bigger than just being and also individually they could do really well. I see money here. So I'm like, could it be that the leader actually makes really good money besides the group? Maybe they have another gig or something or maybe they come from another group, or they come from another experience, work experience, that it had given them some expertise, or it had given them some status even. But I see this, for a leader, I think that this is just someone that I don't think that they are like this leader that is like, oh, I'm there for the members and I give them feedback and I talk to them. No, this is a leader that is like, I am the one that creates, or I am the one that I go into the room or into the office and I stay up all night writing lyrics, creating, arranging things. It's like, let me alone and let me work. This is how I pay my part, or I do my role as the leader. I let me work in silence and alone. So it's very, I think that this person isolates themselves very much, but also it could be a very, I don't know, I don't want to say flashy, like a flashy person, because like, fashion, or there's a lot of money maybe. But again, we have the Four of Swords and we have the Queen of Swords. So I'm like, there's someone else that maybe takes the role, or somehow they share this role, where this person is like probably the one that is like the communicator. This is the messenger, someone that is like equally as important as this leader, but this person is more communicative. That again is giving me a woman. And now I'm like, no, this is a group of men, but well, it's giving me feminine energy. But the Four of Swords is like, I bring tranquility to the group with the messages. I talk to them, or I deliver what this other person that is so busy working, I deliver the news or what they want to say. And because they are so busy or they're elsewhere, they cannot communicate. So I do the talking, or I do the mediation, or I bring clarity to the group. I think that this person is probably more like, they care more about relationships. It's like, okay, I talk to them, I listen to them, I bring tranquility also, I bring them peace of mind. I ask them to be patient, to relax. Yeah, because this person can go days and months, even like being MIA, because they're working. And probably they don't tell you where they are. So it's like this. But Knight of Wands is this journey. So definitely, this leader or leaders, they have a journey. They have a very passionate way of advancing in this industry. And they definitely are very passionate about this, and they want to keep advancing. So yeah, don't sleep on them, because they are very passionate. They have a direction. They are like, okay, we're going towards this goal and no one is going to stop us. They are also very adventurous. It's like they love, I don't know if they are from Korea, I don't know, where they're from, but it feels like they're like, if we have to travel to another continent, we will go. We will go and we will conquer. And then we will come back. I think that they love the challenge, and they love changing places, or they love changing locations. So it feels like really exciting. They are very passionate about the group, very passionate. I was confused for a minute, guys. I was like, thank God I looked at it, because I was like talking about she in. Okay, I'm going to continue with Katseye Sophía, leader of Katseye. Nice. Again, when I read for Sophia, I was like, is this woman rich? I didn't read for Sophia, but I did a personality reading for all the members. Is in my channel. And I got this rich energy. And again, I have, the cards are starting to talk about this. 10 of Pentacles, the Empress, 8 of Swords, and we have the Ace of Wands. She does care a lot about appearances. She does care a lot. 6 of Pentacles, generosity. So she's a very generous leader, actually. She's very generous. It's just that I think that this is a woman that she's used to having it all, and I think that is very interesting, because actually, when I believe when I did the personality reading, I got this, like, she probably was royal or was like a princess, she gave me this vibe. And I think that seeing the 10 and the Empress, it also gives me, this, like, I'm rich, like I'm abundant. I have it all. I think that I even cannot say that, oh no, because the company is paying for her, comfortableness. No, she is carrying the bag. Maybe the parents actually, like, pay for her to have, the best of the best. She comes from a legacy of luxurious things, or a legacy, or a very well-off family, a lot of money, a lot of femininity. Like, she actually, I'm like, why is she an idol? Because I think that there's something about her just having money already, but probably it's like you don't need to have. You can have the desire and the talent to be an artist. It's not about status nor money, but I think that she already comes with this. There's something about, like, when I see this, I cannot be like, oh no, because Sophia, she's actually abundant because the company is putting money on her. Not at all. She's actually putting money in the company, probably, because she comes with the bag herself. She comes with the stuff herself. She is very self-sufficient. She comes with her stuff, or she comes with her people. Maybe she has people that but she's always flawless. She's always flawless. She's always, like, different in a style, maybe, or maybe what she wears, it's all, I don't know, it's all very fancy, or she's very girly, or what she wears is really expensive. So it's like her abundance, or it's giving me spoiled, that is giving me princess. So I think that whenever she enters, like, it's like she comes with a sort of hierarchy, you know, she comes with a sort of experience of I know what is good. You know, she probably has a good eye for the finest things. And this is why she has a pride in this. You know, there's something about her probably also transmitting this to the group and being like, girls, we deserve the best. So we always have to ask for the best. I think that she's very demanding as a leader. I think that when she talks to the company, she's like, no, we don't like that. No, we want something better than this. No, give us this, you know, and I think that this is the good side of having someone that actually has it all, or she has experience in the business, so she knows that the company can do better for them, or the company can invest more. So she's very, like, you know, observant of this. How much money are you putting in this? When are you buying us things? You know, she wants the best of the best for the girls. She doesn't want, you know, tacky things for the girls. She wants the best of the best. And she's very opinionated about, like, oh, you're not giving me this. Like, like, you better give me the best of the best. Like, this is very low in quality. So you better give us the best of the best. The Eight of Swords and the Ace of Wands. I think that at this point in 2026, probably, you know, I think that Sophia is someone that is very confident because she knows the business and she knows the reality. She's very grounded. You know, she knows what's up. You know, she knows. And she's very blessed in this sense that she has the knowledge, and she's also, like, she has the attitude to, you know, not go in circles about what she wants for the group. She definitely does speak up. But I think that with the Eight of Swords and the Ace of Wands, at this moment, and probably this year, some things are going to start to happen that are about to leave her helpless. Because I think that you know, maybe they are considerate with her. They let her talk, or they let her say what she wants to say, but at the end, the ones that make the decision is the men in the room, is the higher ups, or is whoever is managing them. So I think that there could be a time in these moments where actually Sophia will start to feel like she doesn't have that power as a leader yet. That actually she's going to feel very restricted, because she's probably going to keep demanding things and they're not going to listen to her. Somehow it's like, you have to do what I say or what we say. So it's about her feeling helpless. Like, you know, I wanted a change, or I wanted something better for us, for the girls, and I feel like they are avoiding me, or I feel like they're not giving me the answers, or I'm starting to notice that they actually don't listen to me, or that I'm asking for a change and nothing changes. It's like there's a lot of listening and maybe a lot of meetings, but when it comes to action, they don't go for what she wants. They at the end up doing, or get the girls to do, what they want them to do. So there's a bit of reality check in this sense that, yeah, she can come from a very experienced and abundant kind of environment, but this, where she is at the moment, is going to start, like, lowering her possibilities of making a change in the group. She's going to start feeling helpless as a leader. She's going to start feeling like things are not moving the way she was hoping. Or maybe the demands, the requests that she had for the group, she's going to start seeing that nothing is happening. Nothing that they promise is happening. Nothing is moving. They're going to start to leave her out of certain conversations. They're going to start ignoring her. They're going to start, like, somehow, you know, be more just push her to a side and be like, no, we don't need you here. Like, you just go with the girls, do your part, and that's it. So I think that is going to be a bit uncomfortable, but I think that this is their strategy, or this is what this company wants to do, is like they are asserting their dominion on her as a leader. They are like, you don't really matter. You just have to do what we tell you. And if we tell you that you cannot do anything, you cannot do anything. So somehow she's also going to start feeling powerless. Like, I wanted to do something, or I wanted to help, and they are not listening to me. But she's a generous leader. She's very generous because she has. She's generous because she does possess maybe comfort, or she does possess stability in her life. So she shares this with the girls, and she wants the girls to feel safe. And she's very generous. She shares everything that she can do to make the girls have the best experience, give them things, buying them things. I think that she invests a lot on the girls. I think that her intentions are not bad, and with the kind of generosity, the Six of Pentacles, she's also looking out for the members. So it's just that there comes a point in her leadership where they are not going to let her do anything. So, if you see that, oh my gosh, she's not talking about this, or she's not doing anything about this, it's not that she's not doing it, it's that they are not listening to her. At the end, the men are the ones that are ruling these girls' careers. So, but she is a generous leader. My lips are dry. Thank you for the likes, guys. Okay. Going to continue with 17 S.Coups. Leader of 17. Out of Swords. Okay, for S.Coups, we have the Two of Swords, we have the 10 of Cups, we have the 3 of Swords, and we have the 2 of Cups. So, and the 10 of Swords, it says agony. Agony. So he feels really guilty. He feels really guilty about something. There's something about his bond with the members. There's something about their sentimental connection or their emotional connection that he's like, maybe he made a decision or he agreed to something that somehow he's like, this is spoiling our, how we used to be. Or we used to be a family, and now I don't know where we are. Of course that, we have members enlisting, we have members in the military, so of course that, from having this 10 of Cups, we sort of resume this to having this 2 of Cups, so it's like probably, out of the members that are slowly enlisting, he's like been left with one of them, or maybe he has to have a duo with one of them or a collaboration with another one. But it feels like he really misses them, or he feels so heartbroken about, how from being this numerous family, I would say, he's like, there's a lot of emptiness, there's a lot of absences, and he feels very sorry for this. He doesn't know where to go. There's something about his leadership that this year he feels like a bit sorry for himself, like it's like, I don't know if he wishes he could do more, or if he wishes he could reach out more to the members, but he feels very like lost, I would say, without them. It's really bad, honestly. The Two of Swords and the Ten of Cups. I think that he had always been a bit indecisive about decisions that he had to do with the group. Or probably at some point he had to make a choice, or he had to make a decision, and maybe, yes, the members trust him. But I think that he always felt, does he have like a Libra moon or something like this, or a Libra placement? Because it feels very indecisive. Like he always felt like every time he chosen something, is like, did I do right by choosing this? Like, not being that secure in himself and his ability to, like, he somehow needed the group to reassure him that what he did was the right choice, because he couldn't see the possibilities. He couldn't see, I don't know if at some point maybe someone promised them something and he bought it, or he was like, yes, this is good people, or they really care for us, they're going to help us. And maybe it turned out to be actually not like this. But I think that he's like, I feel so sorry that sometimes I find myself doubting when I have to do something, I have to make an important decision for the group. And he definitely worries for the group. He worries. He probably also starts to see differences, or he starts to see certain relationships like falling apart, certain members not talking to each other, or not. It's not about them not talking, but I think that they're not as close as they used to. And maybe also there's like this sort of, nowadays probably, or maybe even before the members enlisted, like there's this style now that is like, okay, they separate the groups in these units, and it's like more noticeable than before. It's like, oh no, you have this unit for this and these members for this, and maybe it's more for popularity than actually like giving everyone a fair chance. So he's like, I'm worried about my family, I'm worried about, the emotional being of the group. He also thinking about the happy times, maybe when things were more simple, where I think that there's nothing here that is like, no, because S.Coups worry a lot about numbers and sales. I don't see it. I don't think that he is like, obsessed with glory and success and numbers. No, he just wants, I don't know why I feel like he's like, I just want my family back. But at the same time, he's like, there's not much that I can do. I did my best, but there's certain things that just, it had to be like this. Yeah, Three of Swords, Two of Cups. Did he have like a sort of collab with someone that also it wasn't really good? Or he was disappointed because actually it didn't do very well? But I think that relationships, there's a bit of disconnection with him and people. Maybe that he was like, this person used to listen to me. or this person used to rely on me, or they used to come to me for advice, or they used to, come, and now he feels like there's distance, like, no one talks to me anymore. They only talk to me when we have to work on something, but then I think that there's like a gap, there's like a distance, there's something that is silent, but it really offends him. There's something that is like, oh, it's so heartbreaking that they don't reach out to me like they used to. They don't come and talk to me about their problems, or maybe they don't trust me. There's something about him being like, maybe, people don't trust me anymore. I think that he feels like his, relational skills, or maybe he feels like as a leader, he feels sorry, because all these cards with the Ten of Swords, I'm like, why is this man feeling so sorry for his group? Like, and about him being a leader, he feels like, no, my role in here is just so sad, like it used to be more important. I used to feel so appreciated, because this is not about money and fame. This is about love. This is about, the members used to come to me, and I felt the love, and I felt, how they used to care. And now each one of them is like separated. Each one of them is at their own thing, and he probably misses when they used to. I think that there's also something about respect. He's like, they used to respect me more. And now probably it's like, it's a mix of things where he just doesn't find himself in the role of leader. So it feels a bit like he's a bit disappointed in this. He's a bit disappointed. And he probably tries to reach out to certain members, maybe one or two, and he tries to, have this. But no, probably if they do have it, it's for the cameras or it's for content, but then later they are like strangers. But probably it's maturity also, that the members are also individuals, and maybe they have their own lives and their own, their own style of life, and they just want to go and meet their other friends. I don't know, but I think that he misses the group as a whole. He's like, I miss when we were all stuck together, and the only thing that we had was each other. He's like, I miss that. But yeah, he feels a bit sad about that. But he is a bit fearful. He's a bit doubtful. He probably is the kind of leader or person that he needs to be reassured. He needs to be like, you have to let him know every once in a while, like, I love you, thank you for what you do, or thank you for being here. He loves to hear those words, and probably it's been a while since someone has done that for him. This is why he feels like he's failing, or his relationship with them is failing. Oh, thank you, Fluffy. S.Coups has Libra Mars. Thank you. Okay. I'm going to read for Ohyul, Ohyul of Longshot, the J Park group. Ohyul, I think that is his name. Ohyul. My first time I really reading for him. I see his leadership. He's very young. He's very young and excited. He's just excited. Very excited. He's like, I'm happy to be here. Thank you for reading for me. This is what he would say if I would read for him. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for reading for me. We start with the Hermit. We have the Six of Pentacles. We have the Eight of Cups. And we have the Knight of Cups. And then we have the Page of Wands that it says freedom. Freedom. It's also very sleepy. This man needs to sleep more. He probably wants to sleep more. Yeah, I think that for him, honestly, being the leader is like a whole. He's taking it seriously. He's probably studying like on his own. He's like doing some research about like, okay, what is a leader about, or what do I have to do? You know, he's just very focused on being a fair leader, or maybe just being better. There's something about him wanting to do some inner work on himself. He's like, no, I have to be wiser. I have to be wiser for the guy. I think that he wants to be like a cool leader. You know, the kind of leader that when they talk or when they are asked certain things on interviews, he wants to sound like very mature, or he wants to sound like very knowledgeable, that he knows things, that he studies things, that he's this sort of mentor. You know, he's just really, he also has his style. He's like, I know what style of leader I want to be. And my style is that I want to be a fair leader. I want to give all of them the same opportunity. I want them all to feel like they are being treated with, with respect and with, proper, just being decent, and I know that Longshot doesn't have that many members. But I think that for him, it's like, no, this is important. I want to do research. I want to, focus. I have to focus. I have to be better. He's really very studious also. So he's so interested in this. He's probably learning a lot. But then, as he goes, as he starts to, practicing more, this role, there's something about him, advancing, moving on from this very studious and practical and strategic kind of mindset, and him thinking that, the best thing that you can do as a leader is just being human. And it's just being caring for the other and being available and being of help and being just a good person and being generous. I think that he's like, I think that he starts with this view that is like it's very much taken from a book. And he's like, no, in practice, in real life, in real time, I realized that I have to build like a really good relationship with them. They have to trust me. They have to be open to meet me. He probably also could be a very emotional, charming, inviting. I don't know if he is he a water sign, but it feels like he is going to become like more sweet, more intuitive, and he's going to start to listen more the members and be like, okay, this is what they need of me, so I'm going to be open, I'm going to be available. So yeah, definitely I think that he's going to give up, his old initial perception, but he's really taking it seriously. He's probably like trying to read certain philosophies about what being a leader is. He's just that curious, but at the end, I think that he's just like, I just have to be open, and when they want to meet me or when they want to talk to me, I have to be available. So very sweet of him, very sweet, very considerate. I like it. I like his energy. And also Page of Wands, freedom. He also probably, in the case of him being a leader, probably in long shot, he has the freedom to be creative. Probably J Park is like telling the guys, like, you are not a regular K-pop group. Yes, there's certain protocols that you do have to follow, like idols are like this, idols behave like this. But when it comes to the relationship, I think that he, at least in the case of Ohyul, there's something about him giving him freedom. It's like, you take the group, whatever you want to take them, you lead them. And then if things go crazy or if things get out of the way, I will come and I will put order. I think that J Park is very much like, if I see that you are somehow going places that you shouldn't, I'm going to step up and I'm going to put things in order. I'm going to put the house in order. But until then, they are free. They are free to, manage the way they want to or how they want to their relationship. There's something about like, okay, he is the leader, but, all of you can help. It's not that, because he's a leader, he's the responsible one, he's the mature one. No, the others can also, be efficient, be of help, being of service. I think that this is not like, because you're the leader, you have to be the responsible one. No, I think that with the page of wands is like somehow have fun with being the leader, have fun, and also just move, just go and live experiences. I think that this is what it feels in here, that you are excited, you have a lot of ideas, or you read somewhere how you're supposed to manage this. But the thing is that the more you will learn about being a leader is the more you live, or the more you experience things with your teammates. This is the best way. There's no book that can help you with that. You just have to live with them, get to know them, listen to them. I thought he was a water sign. He gave me a water sign. But the Libra moon also finds very fitting. He's like he wants to be fair. But I like it. Sorry that my camera is moving. Okay. TVXQ Yunho. Again, does he have his own company? I always ask the same about Yunho. But because I see an institution here, so I'm like, this is not SM. Or he's leaving SM. I don't know. Has he left SM? We don't know. But this is another building. This is another company. So I'm like, does he have his own company? Okay, for Yunho, we have the Devil. We have the Nine of Cups. We have the Six of Swords. We have the Hierophant. And the Three of Pentacles, that it says perfection. Perfection. Again, for Yunho, his moon in Capricorn is very present as always with the Devil. definitely ambitious, always gets what he wants. Um, very individualistic, I must say. Um, I think that he had always been like this, and he's not going to change. He's not going to change. I think that also he's always strive for perfection. He's very also clear about this. I think that he's not, he's not the type that, just like I said, when I talked about Onew's experience, and I think that for Juno probably it's the same. He comes from a time in the industry where systems, they were all about the pride. You have to be excellent, you have to be a 10, you have to be amazing, you have to be proud of yourself, and there's a lot of self-love in here. I think that Juno definitely loves to be a leader. He loves to be in power. He loves it. And I think that he probably is a bit too used to being the like having this, like, okay, I will decide this out of the two, because you can act, so I will do it. So probably there's something about him being a little bit too confident about with the 9 of Cups. Him being like, yeah, I call the shots. Yeah, I actually get the final word. Yeah, I am like this. He is very proud of himself. He's very proud of himself. He's um, I think that his experience, and this is very interesting, because I think that a lot of people maybe want to take him down when it comes to criticism, maybe about his personal life or personal choices. But he's like, about leadership, you cannot say anything to me, because I always been a perfect. He considers himself an example. He considers himself an example for others. When it comes to idol, him the idol, or him, the leader of the group. So he's like, I'm excellent, and I will always, until I die, I will always be excellent. There's something about him having high standards for himself. He has high standards for his member. He's like, I don't do mediocre things. I don't do things halfway. I want to be a winner, and I want us to win, and I want us to be the best. And he's very much focused on status. Like, I want us to be number one, and I want us to be the best of the best, and no one is taking me from here. He is very clear about this, and no one is going to take him from that. Probably as a leader, he's not the most empathic. He's not like, oh, I listen to you, what do you need? No, he's not like this. But I think that he is someone that he holds, or maybe he holds his position with, he leads with example. There's something about him being like, well, as part of this group, I carry myself a certain way, or I expect certain things. So yes, probably I'm not like the cutest, or I'm not like the cool guy, but I am efficient, and I'm really good at what I do. And I don't need validation from others, because I know I am really good. So yeah, he's also very ambitious. He's like, whatever you want to do for the group, or you want us to earn more money, or do more of this, he's like, you got us. We will do it. We will do the shows. We will go here. We will go there. He's like, sign us up, because we will be there. I don't know about TVXQ in from their beginnings to now, how is their activities, but I'm sure that when they have activities, or when they have concerts, or when they have events, there's something about him be like, we will be there, and we will give you the time of your lives. Like, he's always like, no mediocre, nothing like, oh, my voice is not that good. No, my throat, I'm feeling a bit sick. No, we don't get sick. We don't get sick in this house. We are the example. We are perfect. We are flawless. We are magnetic. So He's intense. Yeah, he's intense. He's intense. And I think that honestly he's able to pull all of this off because, his counterpart that is Chanmin, Chanmin is more laid back. So I think that they definitely match each other very well, because if it was another person like him, they would butt heads a lot. So, but he's like, let me do this. Let me do this. I will represent us. I will talk for us. Don't worry. But he's just, very passionate. But yeah, I have the Six of Swords and the Hierophant. So I'm like, is he thinking about changing companies? Is he thinking about going to another company? I see movement. I see change. And you know that for Juno to see change is a lot. But he's going somewhere. He's going to another institution. So I don't know if SM knows about this, but he's going. He has his eyes on a building or on another business. I don't know, but he has his eyes. So yeah. But yeah, Three of Pentacles. I think that, when it comes to his leadership, it works. It works to perfection. And I think that you have them until today because of this perfection, because of him being so thirsty about, being number one, or being, excellent, or being, of never showing less. This is about attitude, like we are the best, like I am the best, like we are always on the top. And they don't compete with others. It's just that there's something about like excellency. Like we have to be excellent. There's no other way. We have to be excellent. We have to be an example for the next generation. So this is why he doesn't lower his standards, because he's like, no, there's people watching us. There's people waiting for us. There's people cheering for us. So we have to give our best. No mediocre things. Okay. The next one that I have is Martin of Cortis. I'm going to read for him only on this aspect of leader, of him being the leader of the group, because this boy is underage. He is 17. So I'm just going to pull cards for him about this aspect, leadership. I'm not going to read for his future nor anything, because he is a minor. I got 5 cards for him. 5 cards for him. Okay, for Martin of Cortis, we have a Knight of Cups, we have 8 of Swords, we have Page of Wands, we have the Hangman, and we have the 6 of Pentacles. This one came extra, but well, I take it. And 6 of Swords, that is a movement. So yeah, I think that about Martin, definitely it shows that he is always looking ahead. He's always looking at what's to come. He wants to keep advancing. He probably wants to move fast or faster. He could be a bit like excited, like okay, I want us to achieve this, and then I want us to be like this, and I want us to do this. The Knight of Cups, it feels like he wants to rush his journey, his process. It feels like he, okay, you just started learning to walk and now you want to learn how to jump, all of a sudden. So it feels like he is a bit, well, he's young, so it sort of makes sense that there's a bit of immaturity in his vision about being a leader. I think that he, first of all, he wants to be a positive leader, because we have the Knight of Cups and we have the Eight of Swords. So there's something about him, wanting to create like a very authentic bond with the members. If there's members that they have like a limited belief, or there's members that have doubts, or there's members that have blockages, in their creative process, he's like, I will help you. I will help you and we will get out of this. I will help you, or I will assist you, and you will be better. I think that he is like someone that he wants like to provide an answer fast. Like, what do you need of me? I will help you. He like wants to go to your aid. He wants to help you, definitely from an emotional point of view. He is emotional, maybe because he's young. He really wants to help his teammates. He wants to help them not feel restricted or not feel stuck on certain assignments. Maybe they have a lot on their mind, or they have a lot that they have to do mentally, intellectually. So he's like, let me help you with that blockage. And he really means it. He's very generous like this. He has plenty of ideas as well. But I think that, again, just like when I read for Katseye Sophía, definitely it's not the same situation, but I can see some stagnation. That maybe the more he tries to maybe impulsively rush certain processes, or try to convince the company, oh, we should do this, and then later we should do this, and maybe next time we should do this, they will start to close the channels of communication with him. They will put him on hold. They will be like, not now. We are discussing something different. Maybe initially they do listen to him and they find that his ideas are cool, but then eventually they start to somehow blockade him, and somehow being like, oh, this kid is very insisting, like he wants to do this, and he has this crazy idea that he wants to launch, and he wants to do this with the other members, but we are not in a position where we need him to calm down. So probably we will put him to wait, or we will put him like, okay, go in there and go work on some music, like somehow to distract him and put him at ease. It feels like they slowly try to tame his fire, his initial excitement. They are like, well, wait over there, we will let you know if we need some more of this, or we will call you if we need your insight about this. And it could be a bit for him, like he really doesn't understand like why at the beginning they were so excited to listen to his ideas, and now it seems like they are like trying to hush him, or they are trying to lower his excitement, or his desire to do more, or his desire to create something new. I think that they will put him to wait, or they will be like, not now. We cannot release something new now because we have other things to do. We are busy with other group, so you guys wait. And he could feel a bit restless about this, a bit uncomfortable. He could act a bit childish also, or maybe say something online, because he is very young. He's still a child. So, when you see a page for him, it literally means him. That he has so many energy, so many ideas, so many fire inside of him, that he probably is really hard to tame him. He cannot sit down, or he's too excited to do something. He gets bored. And if he gets bored, he starts to be loud. I think that they will put him on timeout at some point, because they're like, calm down. We don't need that energy now. But he is really going to be like just like, for Sophia at some point, it's going to be very disappointing for him to be like, wow, initially you said you liked my energy, and now you say that I'm bothering you. So what is it? What am I doing wrong? And also, this is a child, so okay. And the extra that I pulled, that I place here about the situation, 6 of Pentacles. So eventually, yes, he's going to come down, and he's going to be less emotional about things. He's going to be less excited. He's going to be like, okay, you put me on hold. You don't want me to do anything. You want me to go and sit down. Okay, then I will wait for you to call me. And when you call me and ask something for me, I will give you something mediocre to work with. Like I will create something mediocre and I will deliver it. Since this is what you're giving me, this is the attention that you're giving me, this is how you are treating me, this is how you value me, so I'm going to give you something mediocre because you're ignoring me. And see, this is going back to him being, again, a probably very reactive person. He's still a child, so very young. I don't know what he's doing in the industry. He's so young, but he's very impulsive. So I think that he will give them a taste of their own medicine. He's like, oh, so I'm bothering you? Okay, I will stop producing them. And then when you come begging that you want new work, that you want something new from me, I will give you the best, the worst part. I will give you the most lame song that you ever heard. See what you can do with that. Yeah. He's also going to start to notice the reality of this system. Like, oh, you at the beginning you treated me like I was amazing, like I was so talented, and now you're trying to tell me that I should be less myself. Okay. But yeah, 6 of Swords movement. See, this is a Martin feels like this very innovative kind of genius, that he, with the 6 of Swords, he needs constant movement. His mind needs to create new things, like one after the other, to sort of refresh his mind. He needs movement, he needs variety, he needs to be entertained, motivated, and I think that probably at some point they want to put him inside a box, and he's like, I don't do well with restrictions. I need movement. I need to be active, like creatively, or probably being on the internet. There's something about him working on the internet. I don't know if what he creates is on the internet, or he uses a program of the internet, or if he is really good with apps and he just works with technology. But it seems that this is his future, more like the producer, more like, the one that is the brain. But I think that about fame, or about, maybe being an idol, there's something about him just not understanding the system. It's like full of contradictions for him. He doesn't understand it. And as a leader, I think that he's trying his best to connect with the members, but I think that he doesn't have, like, it's really hard for him to concentrate and be like, I'm going to be a proper leader. No, he probably wants to be like an inspiration for the members to keep moving at his pace. It's like, you guys follow me, I'm moving out, or I'm going places, you guys follow me, something like this. But not about like, oh, I want to be a good leader and just be of example for you guys and be nice. No, it's boring for him. His attention span doesn't work like that. Yes, exactly. Okay, I'm done. I'm done with the readings. Oh, wow. Where's my birthday twin? My birthday twin on the papers. She's gone. She's gone to have cake, celebrate. Not yet. It's very early. It's very early. It's very funny because all my devices are like happy birthday, like Microsoft and all those legal, even my bank, they wish me happy birthday. They were like happy birthday, and I'm like, who? I always forget that legally is my birthday today. Ice cream cake. Yes, my documents say March 11. Yeah. I'm really tired. I I'm drained with energy. Yes, my legal birthday is different. Yeah, it's the same. Yes. I have to remind myself because sometimes, I remember at work they used to give us, your birthday, it was like a free day, you could arrange your, like somehow your first day, they would sort of give you as a gift a free day that day. And um and and I remember I was like, people also were confused. This is, for me it's easy, but I think that for people around me that they know me in real life, they are like, wait, didn't you say that your birthday was on January? Why do you have two birthdays? And it's like, yes, I do have two birthdays. I do have two birthdays. Um, one birthday is when I entered the life, and this date is when I survived. Basically, I got out of the nursery home, with the pounds that were necessary for me to be considered healthy. Because I had a lot of, I don't know how it's called, but is it underweight? When you don't meet, I think that for a child, it's like you have to be 2 kilograms, is it, for a newborn, for you to be considered healthy? And I didn't reach that. So I was very tiny. So I had to spend like 2 months in the nursery home, and in the incubator. I was being fed in the incubator with all the cables and everything. Yeah, it's written March 11th. Yes, is when I got out, when I got out of the nursery home. Yeah, because they lost my, when I was born. Then they recuperated. I do have it, the one that says January the 15th, but then that one is not valid because the one that they use to fill and put all the my progress and the vacuum and the vaccine and all of those, it was, they had a new document, and in that document, okay, they decided that they were going to put the date that I was like discharged of the nursery home, um, because honestly, they didn't think that I would make it. And when they rushed me from when I was born, I was so premature that they took me in a helicopter to the other hospital, because where I was born, it was like a regular hospital. And my mom was also bleeding out. She was also losing a lot of blood. She was losing conscious. So they took me, and right away they took me in a helicopter, and they took me to the other place where they have the newborn babies, and they had me in there for 2 months. My mom also was in the hospital for 2 months. Well, not 2 months, but she was, for the first month, she was she couldn't see me because I was all with the tubes and in that incubator. So I was being fed with the things that they give the babies. I never had like breast milk feeding. No. Yeah, 2 months. Do they always do that, like the day you left in the hospital? It's just that it was in such a rush that they lost the paper. They drop it. I don't know if they drop it or because they found it later. But I don't know if they were carrying everything and they drop it, because they said that it was a matter of like it had to be like this, like. And also I was this place for the babies, for the newborn babies, it was in the capital, and where I live, it's like the it's in the same province, but it's like a tiny town. Yeah, in the papers it says 6 a.m. actually, 6 a.m. In in the original one. No, sorry, not in the original one. In the one that stayed in the March 11 is at 6 a.m. But I wasn't sure. My dad kind of remembers. He says, he said, I asked him once, and he was like, I know that it was before 9 a.m. because I arrived at 9 a.m. and you were already there. Because he couldn't even, like, it was such a mess, such a, like, traumatic experience that because we almost died, both of us, that my dad couldn't even, like, it took a whole hours for him to see me. Actually, he had to fly also, not fly in a helicopter, but he had to also go on his way to this hospital where I was. And he was like, I arrived at 9 a.m. and you already were there. So he thinks that is like I was born like 3 hours. He's like, well, 6 a.m. it sort of makes sense. But, I don't know. When it comes to astrology, I did is it rectification? Rectification, is it? Well, or rectify. I did rectify my card with an astrologer because I didn't know either. There's certain people that they said that I had Aquarius rising. So I don't know. And she had me answer certain questions about my life in certain years. So I did, and she did the rectification, and it was 5:56. 5:56. So yeah, 4 to 6. 4 minutes to 6. I was a breast milk alcoholic. Is very, and go and look, Fluffy. Go and look the birth chart of March 11th. Go and look for it. Go put March 11th, 1985, 6 a.m. Yeah, me too. Yeah, I feel much more like a Capricorn rising. Yeah, Aquarius rising, no. Yes, I still have a Scorpio moon. I cannot run away from the Scorpio moon. I cannot. I cannot. It's in my. It's in my. It was in my destiny. Yeah, a lot of Aries placement. That sort of makes sense as well, because I, even though when it comes to Capricorn, I do have it in Pisces. There is still Venus next to Mars, and it feels very Aries. It feels very Aries influenced, the way I'm very impulsive sometimes in relationships. Actually, when I like someone, and I'm not, but it could also make sense. Like, it could make sense maybe in a Venus in Aries. Yeah. And instead of, I believe in the 10th house, instead of having Pluto conjunction, the moon, it would be the moon conjunction with Saturn, I believe. It's like it moves a bit. Instead of being conjunction, the moon with Pluto. Your bias just won on Paris Fashion Week. She flew the other day after they had. Oh, she's super busy. I'm going to check on her pictures. I think maybe Venus in Aries, you feel like that because you're Venus in this country. Yes, I feel it like this. Yeah. Yeah. But the moon in Scorpio is so crazy. It's so crazy, Fluffy. I swear I never met someone that had the same, like, because what are the odds? That the moon is in, like, because these are two dates that, yeah, I know, what one means and the other, but it is like in the same sign. It's incredible. Like, that's why astrology for me is so interesting, and it's so like mystery, and I think that when you have, for me, that this is why I think that as a teenager, having two dates and having not so many information, because they remember things, but everything became so blurry because we were dying. So you know, it's like I don't know if I think that sometimes it happens to parents that maybe they have more than one child, and people are like, can you tell me, like, do you remember when I was born, or at what time, or at what hour? And they're like, I don't remember. So it can happen also. But I remember I became very interested in astrology since very young, a teenager. So I think that it was a way for me to trying to understand my personality and understand why certain things fascinated me, and why I wanted to learn more and more and more. And I wasn't just satisfied with being like, oh, this is your sun sign and that's it. I knew there was something more. I knew there was something deeper before I knew what a birth chart was. South Node. Okay. Uh-huh. Her mom made her take a pic with. Ah, she's like in this. She. Yes. Yeah, parents do not remember. It sort of makes sense. It's like a transit in a way. You were born in Scorpio moon and came out of the hospital when the moon was in Scorpio again. Plus your mother being a Scorpio. Yes. Yes. Yeah. It's so meaningful. It's so um and also my grandma that also lived with us, she was also a Scorpio. So it's such a nice memory of theirs, and I also think about how I want to honor them, by you know showing the best side of what a Scorpio placement can bring to people, not more on the mysterious and like um, secrets, and I don't know. I think that I I struggled so much ever since I was born to be here, that I'm like, I refuse to see things from a dark perspective. Like I understand that life is not perfect, but I'm like, if I was able to make it, if I didn't die, if we both didn't die, it's because I had to be here. So if I had to be here, I have to make it worth it. I have to, you know, I have to make it worthwhile. I have to be my authentic self. I have to, um, you know, just be proud of who I am, and even with my flaws and a lot of things that are not 100% perfect of me, but just being proud of that. I don't know. I just think that that I really like wanted to live. When you're like, I really want to be here. I want to be in this life. I want to be here. Like I was holding on very tight. And I was like, get me out of here. This is why I got out at 6 months of pregnancy. I wanted out. I was like, get me out, because if I stay, I'm going to die. And I got out. I'm prepared, but I got out. I wanted to be a Capricorn. Oh yes, that name. Yes, it is very disturbing, Kira. I grown up surrounded by Scorpio placements, yes, especially Moon. So I feel I know this placement to a T with a lot of objectivity. Scorpio is one of the most misrepresented sign of line with pops astrology, with maybe Libra. A girl from my town who unfortunately passed away posted a picture of her with a t-shirt that said cancer and had the constellation and the date, and the caption of the picture say, I'm actually a Capricorn. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, but yeah, it is. Yeah, I understand, but I'm imagining the shock, because you probably are like, oh, she's a cancer. Oh my, no, yes, I understand. Oof. Your early experience is pure Scorpion and Capricorn too. Also, your Saturn. I think that with Saturn being your chart ruler is key. Yeah. And I understand that there's people that don't want to, because of certain things that happen to them, they think about, that they don't want to be here. I understand that, that must be a very strong force also, of you wanting to destroy yourself, or just not being here anymore. I know there's people that deal with depression and everything. But for me, I don't know, I always have like this small voice that is like, you keep going, you keep going. It's not about things will get better, but it's about you are alive. As long as you're breathing, you have a chance. You have a chance. So take it. Take it. Also thinking now that we were talking about cancer, I had a few, I knew people that, that they weren't necessarily sick, but because they had certain problems, they would let themselves go, and then they would get sick, and then they wouldn't go to the hospital, and they would, start letting go of themselves, not take care of themselves, until a disease happened, an illness happened, and it's like, well, now I'm battling with this disease. But I'm thinking sometimes, and I also see it because, my mom also had cancer, and she was very healthy in her, she did everything that she had to do in the treatment, and also she was very healthy in her eating, her diet. So it's very strange, the two sides, of someone that is considered like normal or healthy, and how they go, through like how they start caring for themselves, and how, then because they don't care for themselves, or they don't take care of themselves, things get more serious, and it ends up being a health issue or a problem. And then I'm thinking about people that had always done everything right, and then they get this disease that you don't want to hear it, this name, that we were just talking about. And I find it like it's so interesting, because some people that have this disease, they really want to live. There's people that they really want to live. They really want a second chance. They really want it, and they just, and that illness just consumes them. It takes them away. And there's people that they just let go of themselves. They just let themselves go. They can have everything, but they, because of depression and other things, they cannot be saved. Also, once the mind gets sick, there's no way out. The mind is also very powerful. If the mind that is not right, then it is going to affect the body. She's bold in the picture. Yeah. Well, I'm one of these people. So I'm not to be depressive, but yeah, there are times when I'm like, I'm tired. Yeah. 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 It's just that I think that life is tough, especially nowadays. It seems like whatever we try, there's a lot of negativity. And you're like, what is all of this? What are we doing this for? And so it's tough. It's tough. It's tough. I tell after my mom died, I think that I don't want to say like I got into a depression, but I think that life is not the same without her. Life is not the same, and festivities and um, uh, birthday parties, birthday celebrations. For me, it's like I will try to join for a couple of hours, but then I just want to be alone, because I don't know, maybe, for people that had lost their parents, maybe is normal to be like this. For me, it's like, I'm thankful that I have my dad, but it's like my mom was like my best friend. So, losing her, it feels like a part of me is gone with her. Like I cannot enjoy things like I used to. Like a part of me just went with her. Um, and and this is why we know every time I'm a bit, antisocial, like I don't want to go out or I don't want to see people. I'm like, it's not you, is that I don't want to. I don't find the joy. I don't want to be present in a place where I'm like, I want to go home. Especially, Christmases and special days are really hard. Mother's Day are really hard for me. And it's my experience. It's my experience, and I try, and I did therapy and everything, and it's not, thank God I cannot say like it's like pathological, but it had affected me definitely. I don't i don't enjoy things the same way. And I think that, when they say, oh, what is grief is supposed to, you're supposed to get over it in a couple of years, I'm like, no, that's not true. At least not for me. I'm not, sorry, then I'm not normal, because I don't get over, I don't get it over. But I think that I also came to be at peace with myself about, like, yeah, this is me, this is my process. Like, I know I'm not the only one that loses a loved one. I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people like me and people that have gone through worse things even. But for me, I got stuck in a time. I got stuck in that time, and a part of me is gone. It's like I'm not the same person. I change. I notice it in myself. Um, thank God I'm very communicative, and I express it, and I'm open about this. But yeah, that's how I feel. That's my experience. I'm sure that there's people that probably they're like, well, it takes time, but then you get over it. I don't know. I don't think I'll ever will. Mm, yeah, I'm always trying to be positive, because otherwise it's getting to dangerous territory. Yes, yes. Yeah, losing a mother is unique, grave, like, can get better, of course, but it's never really going away completely. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's about accepting the light and the dark. Exactly. Exactly. Every time I think about K-pop and I watch K-dramas, I think about my mom would have really loved the K-dramas. I always, when I'm watching a K-drama that is funny or that, that is interesting, I'm always thinking that I'm watching it with her, because she used to be very fan of, animes, and she used to be very childish like that. Even when I was a child, she would love the animation and everything. So I'm always thinking that we should appreciate our mothers because you know um I think that grief, you're going to miss them anyway. It's just that now that we were mentioning cancer, I think that if you lost someone to cancer, you know how awful that disease is. How it removes, how it you cannot recognize the person anymore, how it definitely consumes the person, and they are no longer themselves. So I always felt a lot of anger and frustration. I was like, why did she have to die like this, in pain? Why couldn't it be something else? Because but at the same time, I'm grateful because she didn't have to suffer for long. I know that there's people that they go through this period, they could be like 1 year, 2 years suffering. She didn't suffer that because it went to her brain, so it affected everything just very rapidly. But at the same time, it's like, why like this? Why? Watching someone you love like this is like it's so unfair. I know that life is not fair, so if we talk about what's fair, there's not something fair about this. Life is not fair in any way, but this is one of the things that you're like, I hope that you don't lose them like that. I hope that you don't lose them like that, because it leaves you with a lot of frustration. It leaves you with a lot of like, wow. um but thank God, her suffering ended relatively. It ended when it had to end, but I know that there's people that struggle longer, and I knew that she was tired already. She told me she was tired, she wanted to go. Her life hasn't been easy. Her experience in her body, having an accident, when she was in her 30s, been always, having a pain in her leg, so her life wasn't pleasant. It was full of pain, full of, I have to endure this. Oh, I cannot walk here because I get tired and I have to, I think that she really wanted to go. But, you as a loved one, you are like, why this horrible death, like this. I don't know, I just I got traumatized by that. I don't know. Yeah. She like that embassy. So cool. I share the same bond with my mom, sharing a lot of stuff with her, and recently she's been updating me on K-pop even. That's so cute. That's so cute. Yeah, that's the best. That's the best. Yes, please share things. Yes. Yeah. Share things with them. I know that the relationships with mothers, because I had clients that they had, not because there's mothers and mothers. You sometimes you have mothers that are like, wow, you shouldn't be. But if you have the possibility to build a sort of routine with them, just do it. Just do it. Please do it. I even built this with my dad, and my dad is a man, and he has all these old fashioned, he's also 80. So, but now we go for walks, very early in the morning we go, and we have that moment, we have that moment where we bond, and when we have to, decorate the house or move furniture or do something, we are a team. So I think that this is what I want. If you can just, build that relationship. I had to build that relationship with my dad because I didn't know my dad. My dad had always been part of my life, but the emotional connection, I had it with my mom. My mom was like my source. She was like my best friend, and my dad was always working. And now that, I have to take care of him and I have to depend on him, but also I'm learning a lot about him, what he likes, what he doesn't like, how he is. And we have to be family, just the two of us. We have to be family. And I don't want to have any regrets about my relationship with my dad. I want to be there for him. Thank God he's a very independent man, so I cannot complain. I cannot be like, oh, I have to do everything for him. No, he's very independent. But, you always have like I don't want to say like you have a favorite parent, but that you always have that special bond with one of them. And in this case, I had to rebuild this because, he's the one that is what I have left. So I'm thinking that we, also to honor my mom, we should be good to each other. We should be kind to each other. I don't want to have any regrets about, being there for my dad, because he had been there for me always. So I think that there's moments where he gets on my nerves, there's moments where we argue, there's moments where we have, disagreements, definitely. But he does listen to me, he does recognize my advices or what I tell him, and so it's nice to, sometimes I think that where we are grieving, we focus a lot on the people that are not here. And we tend to forget about the people that are still with us, that are still there with us. So I think that in my grieving for my mom, that happened. I used to focus a lot, oh, she's not here. I wish she was here. She's not here. But I have my dad. He's also going through grief. He's also missing her. So I think that that's when I started more like looking at him and being like, okay, I guess we have to get to know each other. we have to, be a team, be a family. So how do we do this? And I think that it's tough because he's a man and I'm a woman. So, my emotional needs are different of his. So, we are different. He probably, just does things and he doesn't think about like, and I'm like, no, remember that I'm a woman. You have to, respect the places, like don't open the doors or wait for me. I always have to check for my security. And for him, because he's a man, he just goes in life, he doesn't care. But for me, because I'm a woman, I'm like, no, you have to, ask for permission. If you enter my house, you have to, let me know, or you have to, don't enter just random stranger people in my house because, I don't know them. Let me know. Just being protective of my space. And because sometimes he forgets that I'm a woman. Mm. Mm. My parents have never been the type to care of your interests. They make me wonder if most people actually enjoy parenthood or they just assume they have to do it. Mm. Yeah, I think a lot of have kids because that's what is expected. I hope at least you feel so. Yeah. Actually, my mom, like, also she grew up also with not much love, or but she came from a young, a big family. She was the youngest, so she had funny stories and everything, but there wasn't, like, a real connection, a strong connection. And I think that also when she married my dad, it's like, because back in the day, it was like you had to get married, so you had to go and live with your husband's family, move to another house. So it was very much about you basically moving out. So, and I remember that she told me that initially she didn't get along with my dad's family. She struggled a lot. She felt misunderstood, and also she was very shy, or she was very, like, silent. So she didn't understand them. She felt uncomfortable, with them being here, and I think that she probably was, like, very much, like, she told me that she also dealt with depression after she had the accident and everything. And I think that with me, she was able to reconnect with her inner child. I think that maybe me being a child, and me going through, oh, like, I like this, or I want to do this, or I want to learn this, or I want to go here, and I want to have a pet, and I want to watch shows. I think that in there she was able to share this with me, and she was able to maybe experience, like I said, watching TV, or watching a movie, or watching horror movies, that she always loved, but she never had the possibility to watch as a young child or young woman. And because she had me, she was like, oh, now that you're watching, I'm watching it too. And I find it interesting, and I think that she was able to connect with her inner child, the parts of her life that maybe she didn't enjoy, or she didn't have the possibility to enjoy. But she had it with me. It's like she experienced those through me. I told you I lost a boyfriend in my early 20s. It's not the same as losing a mother, but after that, I cut out everyone, all my friends, and went in hermit mode. I have regretted it afterwards, not cherishing those who were. Yes, it's just that I think that initially I was like this too. I was like, no one understood what I went through because it was my mother. So yes, I also, like, I also had friends that they are like, can we come over to your house and see how you're doing? I was like, no, I'm fine. Always, like, self-sufficient, like, I'm fine. And no, I wasn't fine. But I felt like I would talk about it with my therapist, but I wouldn't talk about it with real people, because I think that when you are in grief, it feels like this that you're going through, no one gets it. I don't know. I felt it like it was just me and my grief. And, like, everyone was happy, but I was suffering inside. So yeah, it sort of makes sense that, we don't want to see other people, because we are like, yeah, you guys live your life like nothing happened. And for me, it's not like that. Yeah, let's not be the Five of Pentacles. Yes. That's really sweet that you brought out the inner child within her. I think that's part of joy of being a parent, even reconnecting with that time you were a kid or even didn't get to enjoy. Yeah, I think that that's what happened to her. Yes. Yes. Yeah, also because probably, them being having a lot of children, um, and probably she didn't have access to, maybe she had toys or something, but she had to share with her brothers. So maybe their conditions were also very, like, the resources were very limited. So hears me, being an only child, and just being very wanted, very, very, very much weighted, like, and I think that she just wanted beautiful things for me. She just wanted beautiful things for me always. Like, I think that she was like this. She always saw the beauty in me. Like you're going to be great at this, and you're great at this. And you're so intelligent. But of course, I would get on her nerves as well, because I would be very talkative and as a child, and she was very silent. So I would get on her nerves. There were moments where she would really just, look at me and very serious, and she was like, "Shut up," because I would be talking nonstop, just like now. Hmm. Also, that part, Fluffy, not being a burden. Exactly. Yeah. That's why I didn't go to certain events, because I was like, I don't want to ruin people's, celebration, but I don't feel like pretending I'm happy. To be this dark presence, and also was just depressed, not have strength to do anything. Especially since this was a very healing presence in my life. Yes. So it felt like losing a lifeline. Yes, yes, I'm sure. Mm, yeah. It's not because she was quite loud, talkative. Moms are like that too. I was so loud. Oh my God. And I had a great imagination. Like, I would write stories. My God. Oh God. And now here we are, guys, in a tarot reading channel for K-pop. Oh my God. It's so incredible the way life, just moves. Even when we think that we are not moving, we are moving. We are advancing. And I think that we are all together in here because maybe something united us, something we have in common. So I think that is really nice. Is really nice, because if you can understand me with my broken English and everything, I'm like, we are meant to be. we are all meant to be. We are soulmates. Mm. Yeah, the therapist told me that. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, okay, guys, I'm going to go. I have been ranting for like 3 hours and 20 minutes. Like, oh my God. I need to get up because my back is hurting of so many hours sitting here. But thank you so much, guys, for the talk, for giving the space, so we can reflect. Um, we all have a history. We all have a history, but I think that at some point it's like we have something in common. We have something in common, and I think that it's not a coincidence. It's not just a coincidence. I think that we connect, because maybe we vibe similarly. So no, it's not about being depressing. It's about the reality of sometimes we do feel like this. We do feel like this, and it's okay to say it. It's okay to be like, yeah, this happens to me. this happens to me. And it's, you know, it's an everyday, I think that it's an everyday work, you know, to be like, well, today is going to be different. This is why I admire so much people that they are like, okay, I'm not feeling my best, but I will try. I think that that's the best. That's the best. Um, and for me, I admire so much people that are like this, because I know that they are struggling. I know that it's not easy. So I'm like, if they can do it, why can't I? You know, there's something about, like, I know there's people that are suffering, that they have been suffering for a while, and they are like, well, I will try it one day at a time. And I'm like, if they can do it, why can't I? You know, sometimes we complain for the dumbest things, and there's people that they really are suffering, and you know, um just let's keep going. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we just share. Yes. Yeah, I prefer this instead of being like, oh, because we are so happy. We are also happy. We no, we all are doing our best. We all are doing our best, and we know what hurts. You know, we know what is that part of you that is hurt, or that you feel like, you know, this part of me, I feel like it's missing. You know, I feel like it's not the same. I will not be the same. I will not be the same person, and that's okay. You know, and I will let people know, so they don't expect me to magically, you know, be like, oh, you know, you're so happy right now. No, there will always be a part of me that will be like, you know, missing. But, you know, I'm still me. I'm still me like this, you know, a bit broken. um, but yeah, guys. Then I will see you on Sunday, okay? I will try to see if I can come up with certain recommendations. So yes. Yes, I send a link through the email. I record them like the ones in my channel, and then I send the link through the email. Um, but yeah, happy birthday, Akira. Feliz cumpleaños. Ujú. Que la pases muy lindo hoy. Happy birthday to your mom tomorrow, Fluffy. Bye, guys.